Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And this tutorial will be looking at how to update your Valeton GP200 using the software. So this type of board is more like an update, a software based board. It relies on like firmware and a software to properly operate or to have the full user experience that you desire. So first we'll head over to the Valeton website, which is valeton.net. When you visit the site, it looks something like this. So you hover over the support and then download, and then you realize there's user manual, firmware, and then software. So you choose the firmware. The firmware is the part that goes into the board, and then the software is what runs on your desktop or your Mac. That's over here. So over here I have it opened. So based on the type of GP, Valeton GP that you're using, you just go for that version. They recently released the GP200 JR, but I'm not using that one. I'm using the GP200. So I can either click for it to select all the GP200 software updates that are out. So over here, when you check the list, the most recent one is version 1.3.0. So that is what I'll download. I already have it, so I wouldn't download it again. But if you don't have it, or let's say there's a new update that comes out that you don't have, which is higher than 3.0, this is how you're going to do your update. So you just download and also go ahead and download the software that goes with it. And over here, you realize we have Windows and then we have Mac. So if you're on, based on the operating system that you are on, you choose the appropriate one. So I already have the latest version, so I wouldn't download, but I'm just showing you how you are going to go about it if there's a new update. And then also each update comes with a new manual. So you go ahead and download the latest manual that matches the board, which is 1.3.0 in my case, which is this one. So you hit the download and you get the manual for the software update. So when you have these three, you first install the software and then you open it, you connect your board, you turn it on via the USB-C cable, and then you can have the interface of the board show up in the software on your PC or your Mac like this. So now that we are here, you can click the spanner icon, which will open like the settings. So we have general foot switch, expression or foot switch, global EQ, MIDI, and then we realize we have firmware update. So you choose that, and over here you select the folder icon. So the folder icon will allow you to navigate to wherever that you downloaded your firmware to. So if you downloaded your firmware to the downloads folder, by default, I think that is where it goes. Or you would have to scan or search through your board to find the appropriate folder that you kept the firmware in. So it's usually a zip file, so you have to unzip it. When you unzip it, you have something like this. So you select this like that, and then you say open. So when you click the open, you realize there will be an update now button over there. But before we even do that, let's take a few things into consideration, or let's check a few things out. So you realize each update comes with a note. So over here, you realize over the course of like 2 years, they've released like they've made like three updates to the initial release software or firmware. So each firmware or software comes with new things altogether, and usually it's mostly the effect or the tones that are in there, and they're also doing some minor bug fixes. So over here you realize the previous version before the 3.0 had they added 5 stereo delay effects. They also add 4 stereo reverbs and all of those things. Like, you can just read through to get a fair idea of like what you are getting. So the most recent update came with an overdrive, which in this case was the precise OD. So the precise OD has it's like an overdrive specifically built for like metal and rock type of songs, but it comes with its own noise gate. I think we will have a separate video detailing that. And it also came with an auto swell effect and then some other minor bug fixes. So if you read through and you realize, you feel like, okay, I can install this, you can just close it out and then hit update now. So I'm going to switch to the board in the view so that you see what happens when we hit the update now. So before you usually do that, it will advise you to back up your tones before you continue. So if you have already done that, and I think the recent version also doesn't clear your tone when it installs a new update. So I think that side is done. For me, I have a backup of all my tones, so I can hit continue. And then when I do, you realize on the board there's this particular screen that shows up like that. And then inside the software, you realize it will be loading the firmware that we just selected. So we'll wait for it to complete and then we'll continue. So now when it's done, it will reboot the board and also reboot the software. So basically, this is how to update your board with Valeton GP200. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you next time.